mischievous mermaid, oh, what a life has she. She plays her jokes on the water folks who live at the bottom of the sea. She rides around on a porpoise all day in the ocean deep. But when the starfish come out at night, Misty's fast asleep. Misty, the mischievous mermaid, where'd she get her energy? She's a moving little, grooving little juvenile mermaid, pretty as a coral tree. Oh, what a life has she.
How do you do? My name is Prentice, and I'm a porpoise. In fact, I'm the very same porpoise you just heard about in the song, the one Misty, my little mermaid friend, rides around on. In case you haven't met any mermaids lately, I shall describe Misty for you. Or, better still, just take a look at the illustrations in your storyteller album and you can see for yourself what she looks like. From the waist up, Misty is a bright, attractive little girl. From the waist down, she has the body of a wiggly fish. But from the waist up or the waist down, Misty spells just one thing to me. Mischievous. Mischievous! In case you wonder how I can spell so well, I should like to remind you that the porpoise is considered by scientists to be one of the world's smartest living beings. At any rate, I look after Misty along with my friends, Ocky the octopus and Blubber the whale. And we all live together in the deep, clear waters of Sunny Harbour, which is where Misty rides around on my back. As I said, Misty spells mischief, and that's what she's always getting into, mischief. And when she does, it's up to me, and Ocky and Blubber, to get her out. Does she ever lead us a merry chase? Well, just for example, take the adventure we had with the ghost of Captain Spook, the pirate. Phew! There were some exciting and dangerous moments in that one. Let me see now, where shall I begin? I know. Being a porpoise and one of the world's smartest living beings, I'll begin at the beginning. Now, first I must tell you that beside her fish friends who live deep in the waters of Sunny Harbour, Misty has 3 human friends, children, who live on land in the village nearby. Their names are Marvin, Sandy and Jane, 2 boys and a girl. Now, almost every day, Marvin, Sandy and Jane come down to the rocks at the edge of Sunny Harbour where Misty goes to sun herself, and the 4 of them play together. Now, one such morning, Misty was telling the kids a story that I had told her about Captain Spook the pirate and his ship, the Black Banshee.
And so there was this terrible storm, and the Black Banshee was sunk, along with its enormous treasure of gold doubloons.
Hey, Misty, what are doubloons?
Oh, they're gold coins, and they're very valuable.
How much is one worth?
Oh, a lot. In fact, that's why they're called doubloons, 'cause they're double the value of ordinary gold coins.
Go on with the story, Misty.
Well, the Black Banshee was sank a long time ago, and ever since then, the treasure has just sat there on the bottom of the ocean.
Why doesn't somebody go find the Black Banshee and bring back the treasure?
Well, Sandy, the reason somebody doesn't go and find the Banshee... Sandy!
What? What did I do?
Sponges and shells. You just gave me the greatest, most stupendiferous idea I've ever had. Wow!
When Misty says something is stupendiferous, it's like a storm warning. I know there's mischief afoot.
What idea, Misty? What?
The idea Sandy thought of, to find the wreck of the Black Banshee and bring back the treasure.
I thought of? Wait a minute, Misty.
We can't, Sandy. Do you realise that every minute we sit here delaying, those gold doubloons are rusting away in the salt water?
Misty, gold doesn't rust. And they're doubloons, Not double loons.
Oh, well, whatever they are, they're worth a fortune, and they're just sitting there waiting for us.
But where? We can't search the whole ocean. There's just too much of it.
We don't have to. Prentice told me that the legend is that the Black Banshee sank right in these waters, probably no more than a few miles from Sunny Harbour.
It sounds highly impractical.
Oh, Marvin, do you want to be rich or don't you?
Well, sure, but...
Okay, here's what you've got to do.
If you want to find a treasure and be happy as can be, just whistle along with this tiddly song and stick with me. I can make your life a pleasure. Yes, I've got the recipe. Just whistle along with this tiddly song and stick with me. First you pucker up. That's the way your whistle starts. Now you're puckered up. Just whistle a tune that's in your heart. There'll be fun you cannot measure on the land and on the sea. Just whistle along with this tiddly song so merrily. Whistle and stick with me.
There now. See how easy it's going to be? Sandy! Sandy, what's wrong? Oh, Jane, he's choking. Hit him on the back.
Oh! Thanks, Jane. I was whistling and I got my pucker stuck.
Okay, now here's how we get started.
May I intrude?
Oh, Prentice, what is it? Oh, we're kind of busy.
About the legend of the sunken pirate treasure.
Yes?
Didn't you leave out one small detail of the story?
Me? Leave out? Like what?
Like the part in the story that says the ghost of Captain Spook, a terrible, cruel pirate, stands guard over the Black Banshee and the treasure. That's what.
Oh, a ghost! Oh, that. I don't believe in ghosts.
Well, may I remind you that a lot of people don't believe in mermaids either. Now, we're due at Ocky's for lunch in 1 hour. And don't be late.
Yes, Prentice. I'll be ready.
I dived below the surface of the bay and left, with what dignity I could muster. Now, I suppose you're thinking the matter ended there, that we'd hear no more about going after the sunken treasure aboard the Black Banshee that was being guarded by the ghost of Captain Spook. Well, that just shows you don't know Misty. Before lunchtime, she'd convinced the children that the whole idea was safe and sound, and when we got to the home of Ocky the octopus, she enlisted him on her side and talked him into helping them build the raft they would need to go in search of the treasure. The next thing I knew, the whole crew, Misty, Marvin, Sandy, Jane, and Ocky, were at the water's edge building the raft. Another of our friends, Pablo the Pelican, was perched on a piling watching the work. Now, as you know, an octopus has a whole bunch of arms and hands. So as they built the raft, everyone kept calling on Ocky for help.
Hey there, Ocky, give us a hand. Come on, Ocky, give us a hand. We're gonna build a raft here on the sand. Got a lot to do and we need a hand. Give him a hammer, give him a nail. Stand aside for Ocky and let him wail. He's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 hands. Go, go, go. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 hands. Go, go, go.
Help me saw the lumber.
That's 2 hands.
Help me put the mast on.
That's 2 more.
Help me tie the rigging.
Just 2 left.
Help me hoist the sail up.
That's it, kids. Go, go, go. Mr. Ocky, go. Oh, 40 feet is busy. By heck.
Put a brush in my mouth and I'll paint the deck.
Go, Ocky, go, 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 go. Give us a hand, Ocky, whoa, whoa, whoa. Give us a hand, Ocky, whoa, whoa, whoa. Give us a hand, Ocky, whoa, whoa, whoa.
What's the matter?
What is it?
What's wrong, Ocky?
Now look, you children, and Mermaid.
Yes, Ocky.
I am an octopus, and an octopus has only 8 hands. At least that's all this octopus has. Now, if we're going to get this raft built, we're going to have to cooperate. Cooperation is the key to success. I cannot do more than 8 things at a time. Understand?
Sure, Ocky. Sorry. Well, come on, kids. Let's get cracking.
Well, eventually they finished building the raft and were all ready to launch it and go in search of the wreck of the Black Banshee. Then another argument flared up.
I think we should go east.
Go north. North.
West. We should go west.
Misty, if we go west, we'll be travelling on land instead of water.
Oh, well, we'd better not go west then.
If you, children don't mind listening to some practical advice, you should go south.
Why, Prentice?
Well, because one day, not too long ago, Pablo the Pelican was swimming over the waves a few miles south of here, quite close to shore, he told me. And he saw lying on the bottom a length of anchor chain that might have dropped off a ship when it went down. I say, go south.
Aye, south it is. Climb aboard, me hearties, and let's shove off.
Yes, I'll find the
Find the
treasure.
treasure.
Well, we all climbed aboard, which left nobody to shove off. So Ocky piled off the raft, back onto the beach, and by pushing at the raft, which was already partly afloat with his 8 hands, he managed to get it into the water. Jane and Sandy hoisted the sail while Marvin steered, and we were off. All went well for about 20 feet, and then...
Misty. Misty. A raft sinking. We'll all drown.
Sponges and shells. Prentice, Ocky, over the side. Come on.
When the 3 of us, Misty, Ocky and I, dived overboard, it lightened the raft enough so that it floated beautifully. Marvin headed the raft south, and there was a brisk following breeze that took it along at a good clip. Misty, Ocky and I submerged. Misty climbed on my back, and Ocky and I swam along underwater behind the raft carrying the children. Nothing eventful took place for a mile or two. Ocky and I were chatting as we swam, when suddenly I became aware that there was no weight on my back. Somehow Misty had slipped off and disappeared. Ocky, stop! Misty's gone!
Oh, bother, she's done it again.
Well, she can't be far. Let's backtrack and find her.
Okay. Okay. There's Cruncher, the giant clam. Let's ask him. Hi, Cruncher. Have you seen Misty?
Cruncher the clam certainly was a giant. His shell must have been 4 or 5 feet in diameter. Cruncher didn't reply to Ocky's question about Misty, but then that was really no surprise because Cruncher is a notorious grouch, and when anyone speaks to him, he's just as likely to keep his jaws tightly shut as not. So, not wishing to waste any more time with him, Ocky and I swam back over the way we'd come, asking the various fish if they'd seen anything of Misty. We asked Ernie the electric eel, Blubber the whale, and Stanley the starfish, but none of them had seen her. Now this seemed odd, and after a bit, a very uncomfortable and somewhat frightening idea occurred to me. Ocky, hold up a moment.
Yeah, Prentice? What is it?
A very uncomfortable and somewhat frightening idea has occurred to me.
Oh, dear. Tell me.
I confided my fears to Ocky, and he agreed that the possibility I had set forth was a distressing one indeed. However, the porpoise is not one of the world's smartest living beings for nothing, and I had a plan. I instructed Ocky and the part he was to play, and he swam off while I swam back to the area where I'd last seen Cruncher, the giant clam. I soon spotted Cruncher's enormous shell propped up against an outcropping of rocks, just where I'd left him. Good day, friend Cruncher. Well, I'm glad to see you're looking so well. I believe you've lost a little weight around the middle. Yes, well, I'm tired of running around looking for that silly little mermaid. You have no idea what a trial that girl is to me. Yes, very tiresome, running away all the time. As I talked to the huge, unpleasant mollusk, I could see Ocky swimming silently up behind him. I distracted Cruncher's attention until Ocky got into position and began tickling Cruncher from below, all of his 8 hands going furiously. Cruncher began to laugh, but at first he refused to open his shell. It worked! Under Ocky's persistent tickling, Cruncher roared with uncontrollable laughter. Naturally, when he laughed, his shell popped open, and sure enough, out swam Misty, hopping mad.
Oh, Cruncher, you big stupid clam, you, closing your shell on me like that. Do you want to give me closet phobia?
That's claustrophobia, Misty, and just be quiet for a minute. Cruncher, that was a dirty trick, and you know it.
Well, she's always teasing me. She swims up close and flicks her tail at me and calls me chowderhead.
Did you do that, Misty?
But besides, I wasn't going to keep her in there just long enough to teach her a lesson. Okay, now that you've tickled me, do me a favour and scratch my back. Okay, Cruncher.
Well, I'm ashamed of both of you. Now, come on, Misty, jump on my back. We've got to catch up with the children on the raft. Come on, Ocky.
All right, let's go. Sorry, Misty.
Oh, that's okay, Cruncher. I promise not to tease you any more. Till next time.
Oh, come along, come along. With Misty on my back and Ocky following close behind, I quickly surfaced to look around and see if I could locate the raft.
There they are, Prentice. Over there. Look, they're waving at us.
Sure enough, I looked shoreward and could see the raft with the children waving furiously at us. We quickly swam in that direction and found them floating around at the foot of some towering rocks which all but hid the entrance to a small cove. They were a bubble with excitement.
Quickly, come on. Oh, Misty, Prentice, I think we found it.
The wreck? The sunken pirate ship?
It looks like it. There's something in the shadows at the bottom of this cove.
Sponges and shells. Prentice, Ocky, come on. We've got to go below and check it out. Hurry.
I was inclined to think the children had been deceived by a massive underwater kelp, or perhaps a shadowy grouping of rocks. But we three, Misty, Ocky, and I, dived to the bottom, and, sure enough, there it was. And when we swam around the stern, we saw its name in fading letters, but still plain enough to be read. Black Banshee.
Wow, look at that. Prentice, we found it. Oh, let's go up and tell the kids.
The news that we had indeed located the wreck of the Black Banshee was greeted with shouts of enthusiasm by the children on board the raft. There was no containing their glee. Almost immediately, they began speculating on how they would spend the golden treasure once we'd found it and hauled it from the wreck.
Oh, boy, kids, we're going to be rich.
What'll we do with all that money?
What'll we do with the money, chums? What'll we do with the gold?
I'll buy a bubble pipe for Blubber, the kind that he loves.
I'll wear a high silk hat, an overcoat, and 8 pairs of gloves.
We're gonna be little millionaires before we're 12 years old.
When I run out of candy, if I want some more, I'll simply go and take it, 'cause I'll own the candy store.
I'll be eating chocolate cakes with no one keeping score.
Yes, that's what we'll do with the gold. Yes, that's what we'll do with the gold.
I'm going to buy a beautiful pearl necklace.
What will you do with that, may I inquire?
I'll take those pearls to dear old Grandma Oyster and tell her, here, retire.
I'm gonna buy a pretty little saddle to wear when you go riding on my back.
How sweet of you to think about my comfort.
Those scales of hers are sharper than a tack. Yes, that's what we'll do. That's what we'll do. That's what we'll do with the gold.
Oh, that's what we'll do. That's what we'll do. That's what we'll do with the gold.
Well, it looked as though one of Misty's harebrained schemes was finally going to pay off. In spite of my pessimism about the whole project, we had actually located Captain Spook's sunken pirate ship, the Black Banshee.
With Captain Spook's treasure of gold and doubloons just waiting to be shoveled out and put into the bank, Prentice, this is one time having 8 arms is going to be mighty useful. Come on.
But it wasn't going to be quite as easy as Ockie seemed to think. Inside the wreck of the ship it was very dark and somewhat spooky. No pun intended. Misty, Ockie and I had searched for some time without finding any trace of the treasure when we had a bit of luck.
Hi, folks. What you doing?
Why, it's Ernie the eel. Hi, Ernie.
Ernie the electric eel.
Sure, we know. Hey, wait a minute. Ernie, have you got your searchlight with you?
Of course. I never go anywhere without my searchlight. That's the advantage of being an electric eel. I don't have to worry about batteries running down.
Great. Come on and shine your light inside this old wreck. You can help us find Captain Spook's treasure.
Okay, let's go.
Well, Ernie the electric eel's searchlight was just what we needed. We swam all over and through the wreck of the Black Banshee while Ernie shone his light into every nook and cranny. Finally...
Hey, look! Look over there, behind that big beam. Shine your light over there, Ernie.
Okay, Misty.
Sponges and shells. Ockie, Prentice, look! Captain Spook's treasure.
Well, it certainly looked like a treasure chest. It was stout oak, brass-bound, and too heavy for us to move without help. There was a coil of rope aboard the raft, so we decided to surface, bring one end of the rope back with us, and fasten it to the treasure chest. With us pushing, and the children on the raft pulling, we thought we could raise it and get it aboard. Well, we got the rope, and Ockie tied one end of it firmly around the treasure chest. We were all set to try and move it, and Misty was just about to give a tug on the rope, which was the signal for the children to pull, when suddenly the water around us began to churn in a frightful manner as though some powerful force from above was making a terrible disturbance. I quickly swam to the surface to see what was wrong. What I saw confirmed my worst suspicion. Striding across the surface of the sea, as though it were the quarterdeck of his own ship, came the thing that I'd been afraid of from the beginning. Yes, you've probably guessed it. The ghost of Captain Spook.
Avast here! What's going on here? What are you landlubbers doing? Whoa.
Well, this was a fine kettle of cuttlefish. The ghost of Captain Spook had turned up to protect his treasure, and he was roaring around the raft, puffing and blowing and scaring the daylights out of the children. And if this wasn't enough, the villainous old pirate began to sing.
Though you may have come here on purpose, or happened along by a fluke, you incur my displeasure when you bother the treasure of Captain Spook.
Me artist.
I don't care a hang who you may be, a pauper, a prince, or a duke. You will find it's not funny when you mess with the money of Captain Spook. There's a lifetime of savings by thunder at rest in the chest 'neath the sea, a lifetime of robbery and plunder. How dare you steal it from me? I'm furious. I'll blow you clear out to Hawaii. Start practicing upon the yoke. You'll regret your tomfoolery with the gold and the jewelry of Captain Spook. I'll blow you to Yucatan, Seattle, and Ketchikan to Boston, Bombay, and St. Luke. You've got a whole world to see, and it's all through the courtesy of Captain Spook.
Well, the rascally ghost was as bad as his word. He blew angrily on the sail of the raft and blew it right out of the sheltered cove and into the open sea. And he didn't stop there. As Misty, Ockie and I followed at a safe distance, he blew the tossing raft further and further from land. And when he had it miles from shore, Captain Spook let go one final blast. He blew so hard that the sail ripped, the mast splintered with a loud crack. And sail and mast went overboard and floated away. The children were stranded.
There, that'll teach you to try and steal Captain Spook's hard-earned treasure.
But how are we going to get home?
What do I care? Swim!
With a crude, vulgar laugh, the ghost of Captain Spook strode off across the surface of the ocean, leaving the children on board the raft, which bobbed helplessly around with neither rudder or sail to keep it on course. After Spook was well away, Misty, Ockie, and I swam to the raft and boarded it.
Oh, Misty, Prentice, what are we going to do now?
I want to go home.
So do I. But at the moment, I can't quite see how to manage it.
OK, kids. Now we've all got to be really calm. There's bound to be a way out of this mess. Prentice, you are one of the world's smartest living beings.
That's true.
OK, how are we going to get the raft and the kids back to Sunny Harbour?
Oh, that's easy. We'll, no, that won't work. Now let's see, got it. All we have to do is, no, that's no good either. Now, as one of the world's smartest living beings, I can certainly figure this out. But it may take time.
But I'm hungry.
Wait a minute. Sponges and shells. Prentice, what we need isn't one of the world's smartest living beings.
No? Then what?
We need one of the world's dumbest living beings, Blubber the whale.
How come, Misty? It'd take that dum-dum 2 weeks to figure out what to do.
Right, Ockie. But if Blubber were here, we could just hitch the raft to him with the rope we have, and he could tow it right back to Sunny Harbour.
Good girl, Misty. Now all we have to do is find Blubber. Children, we should be back in not more than 4 or 5 hours.
But I don't want to stay out here all the time while you go look for Blubber. There's nothing to do.
Sure there is, Jane. While we go off after Blubber, you kids can have a birthday party.
A birthday party? Oh boy, that's neat.
A party! Hooray!
It won't work.
Why not, Marvin?
In order to have a birthday party, it's got to be someone's birthday. Is it your birthday, Jane?
Well, no.
Yours, Sandy?
No.
And it isn't mine.
But Marvin, you just said to have a party, it's got to be someone's birthday.
That's right.
Well, it is. Today is someone's birthday somewhere.
There's melody in the sky, as bright as a bluebird's wing. It's someone's birthday, let's all sing. A smile is in every eye, as warm as a breath of spring. It's someone's birthday, let's all sing. There'll be cake as light as an eiderdown quilt, with candles yellow and blue. Presents galore and surprises in store, all for you, all for you. There's happiness everywhere, and magic in everything. It's someone's birthday. Let's all sing. It's someone's birthday. Let's all sing.
That Misty is a clever girl, or rather mermaid. By the time she got on my back and she, Ockie and I headed for Sunny Harbour to find Blubber the whale, she had the children happily playing party games aboard the raft and contented as anything. As we looked back to wave goodbye, they were playing Pin the Tail on Marvin. I took a bearing from the sun, and we headed in a northwesterly direction, and submerging, we swam towards home. Except for the fact that we were in a hurry to find Blubber so we could go back and rescue the children, it would have been a beautiful journey. The sun shone down through the water and was reflected in many colours on the jewel-like scales of the hundreds of fish we encountered. All along our path the sea sparkled with lovely radiant light. Then ahead of us loomed a place of great danger, the sinister Cave of the Sharks. Shadowy and dark it loomed in our path, and although most of the underwater folk who dwell in and around Sunny Harbour are friendly and harmless, the sharks that live in the black cave just ahead are not. They would like nothing better than to make a meal of octopus, mermaid, and porpoise.
Hold up, Prentice. How are we going to get by the cave of the sharks?
Yes, I'm scared. They're horrible, mean old things.
True, but I don't see any of them swimming about the entrance to the cave. Maybe they're inside taking an after-lunch nap.
Well, I'd sure feel a lot safer if I actually knew they'd already had lunch.
Me too.
Now we must swim past the cave as quietly as possible. Come on, and remember, softly. Cautiously and quietly we swam towards the Cave of the Sharks. We glided noiselessly by the forbidding-looking entrance. I thought we were going to make it all right when suddenly my heart sank as I saw several long black forms darting silently out of the mouth of the cave. As they emerged into the comparative light of the water outside the cave, I could see their ugly snouts and vicious rows of teeth. Quickly they surrounded us.
Oh, Prentice, I'm scared. They're going to attack us.
It certainly looked that way. I turned to try to retreat, but there was no opening in that sinister circle. We were hopelessly cut off. Two of the ugly creatures darted towards us, and in that instant, when all seemed lost, a miracle happened. Suddenly we found ourselves in absolute blackness, as though somebody had spilt a giant ink bottle into the water. It was a complete blackout. I could hear the sharks thrashing around, not knowing which way to go. Then suddenly I felt several of Ockie's hands pushing me and guiding me along.
I got you, Prentice. Just stick with me. Hang on to Prentice, Misty.
Okay, Ockie.
Here we go. Let's run for it.
I continued to swim through the blackness, with Ockie guiding me, for several minutes. Suddenly, as quickly as the darkness came down, it was lifted, and we were once more swimming along the well-lighted ocean floor in the direction of Sunny Harbour.
Sponges and shells. What happened?
I turned off the black ink.
You turned it off?
Sure. I was the one who was squirting it, so when we left the sharks behind, I turned it off.
Of course. I'd completely forgotten that the octopus is equipped with a quantity of black ink-like fluid which he can squirt out to hide and protect himself in time of danger. As we swam along in search of Blubber the whale, I couldn't help but reflect on the wonderful way nature gives each living creature what he needs at the time he needs it most. We were almost back to Sunny Harbour when a large shadow passed over us, and I realized it must be Blubber the whale. I quickly swam to the surface.
There he is, Prentice. Hey, Blubber, wait up. Hi, Blubber, old buddy.
Hi, Miss Bailey. Hello, Prentice and Ockie.
Guess what, Blubber? Marvin, Sandy and Jane are away out in the ocean, miles from land.
Oh, isn't that nice? Sometime I'm going on one of those sea voyages.
Oh, no, Blubber, you don't understand. They're out there and they want to come home.
Oh, there's no place like home. That's what I always say. Well, we'll all go down to welcome them. Yay! Let's hear it for the returned travellers.
Blubber, will you stop that idiotic blubbering and pay attention to me?
What? Oh, sure, Prentice.
Now, the children are several miles out in the ocean on a raft. Never mind how they got there. It's up to us to get them back.
Sure we will. We'll swim out there and we'll... How are we going to get them back, Prentice?
Well, we'll tie one end of the rope to the raft and the other end to you, and you'll tow the raft back to Sunny Harbour.
Oh, good. Then once we get the raft in, we'll go back out and get the kids, right? Right.
Oh, sponges and shells.
Well, the plan worked out, once we got it through Blubber's thick head what he had to do. And by late that afternoon, Jane, Sandy and Marvin were back home with their parents in the village near Sunny Harbour.
We told them, Misty, but they just wouldn't believe it.
And what did you tell them, Jane?
Just what happened. How we were blown out to sea by the ghost of Captain Spook, and how a whale towed us back to land, while a mermaid, riding on the back of a porpoise, followed us all the way home.
What's not to believe?
I don't know, Misty. They said they supposed it was the same mermaid we play with every day on the rocks. And we told them it was. Hey, here comes Sandy.
Hi. Guess what happened? Old Captain Grisby was fishing from the breakwater, and he saw Blubber's spout. Told the folks it's the first time in many a year a whale's been sighted that close to Sunny Harbour. Now they don't know what to believe.
Well, I guess humans, at least parents, do get puzzled about things their children tell them. Why, I never believed in ghosts. Really. Until Captain Spook's ghost showed up and caused so much trouble. That night, when I put her to bed, I had a serious talk with Misty about staying out of trouble.
Oh, I will stay out of trouble, Prentice. I promise. Besides, I've got a really stupendiferous idea that's going to keep me busy.
And what is this stupendiferous idea, please?
Well, somebody told me that there is a lot of valuable coral in the cave of the shark. And I thought that if we could get Ernie with his searchlight and Ockie to protect us with the black ink, we could go in there and get...
Stop! Misty, you know better than that.
I know. I just wanted to see what you'd say. Good night, Prentice, dear.
Good night, Misty.
But when the starfish come out at night, Misty's fast asleep. Misty, the mischievous mermaid, where'd she get her energy? She's a moving little, grooving little juvenile mermaid, pretty as a coral tree.